By 1942, Germany's armored forces were beginning to show signs of strain. The rapid development of more powerful and heavily armored Allied tanks, like the Soviet T-34 and the American M4 Sherman, posed a significant challenge. The standard Panzer IV, while effective early in the war, was increasingly outmatched. To counter these threats, German engineers were tasked with creating a new type of vehicle, a tank destroyer that could take on enemy armor with devastating efficiency. This led to the development of the Jagdpanzer IV. The Jagdpanzer IV was developed by modifying the chassis of the Panzer IV, a well-proven platform. The first step was to remove the turret, which was replaced by a fixed, sloped superstructure that housed the main gun. This design decision was made to reduce the vehicle's silhouette, making it a smaller target on the battlefield. The superstructure was heavily armored, particularly on the front, to provide maximum protection against enemy fire. The result was a sleek, low-profile tank destroyer that combined the mobility of the Panzer IV with the firepower needed to destroy enemy tanks at long range. Before entering mass production, the Jagdpanzer IV underwent rigorous testing. Engineers focused on its mobility, firepower, and ability to operate in various terrains. Initial tests revealed some challenges, particularly with the vehicle's weight distribution, which affected its handling and off-road capabilities. However, after several adjustments, the Jagdpanzer IV was deemed ready for combat. The testing phase also highlighted the effectiveness of its sloped armor, which provided enhanced protection without the need for excessively thick plating. The Jagdpanzer IV was a formidable machine. It measured approximately 6.85 meters in length, 3.17 meters in width, and weighed around 25 tons. Armed with a 75mm PaK 39L/48 gun, it was capable of destroying most Allied tanks at ranges exceeding 1,500 meters. The vehicle was equipped with 60mm of frontal armor, sloped at an angle to maximize its defensive capabilities. It had a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour on roads and a range of around 210 kilometers, making it both fast and relatively maneuverable for its size. One of the key strengths of the Jagdpanzer IV was its ability to ambush enemy tanks. Its low profile and powerful main gun allowed it to strike from concealed positions with devastating effect. The sloped armor made it difficult for enemy shells to penetrate, especially from the front. This combination of stealth, firepower, and protection made the Jagdpanzer IV a highly effective tank destroyer on the battlefield. What set the Jagdpanzer IV apart from other tank destroyers of the era was its design philosophy. Unlike many German armored vehicles, which favored thick armor and overwhelming firepower, the Jagdpanzer IV emphasized mobility and concealment. The decision to forego a turret in favor of a fixed, heavily armored superstructure was a bold one, allowing the vehicle to remain lightweight while still offering significant protection. This approach reflected a shift in German armor doctrine as the war progressed. The Jagdpanzer IV was operated by a crew of 4, a commander, a driver, a gunner, and a loader. The crew's positions were tightly packed, with each member playing a critical role in the vehicle's operation. The lack of a turret meant that the gunner and loader had to work in close quarters, but the design allowed for quick and efficient reloading of the main gun. The Jagdpanzer foresaw extensive combat during World War II. It was deployed on both the Eastern and Western fronts, where it played a crucial role in defensive operations. During the Battle of Normandy, for example, Jagdpanzer IVs were used to ambush Allied armored columns, inflicting heavy losses. On the Eastern Front, they were deployed in mobile defensive units, where their ability to strike from concealed positions made them highly effective against Soviet tanks. Despite its strengths, the Jagdpanzer IV was not without its flaws. The fixed gun meant that the vehicle had to be turned to aim, limiting its flexibility in fast-moving engagements. Additionally, the vehicle's relatively light armor on the sides and rear made it vulnerable to flanking attacks. These design choices were made to keep the vehicle's weight and production costs down, but they also meant that the Jagdpanzer IV was most effective in defensive roles rather than in offensive operations. To mitigate these weaknesses, German commanders often deployed Jagdpanzer IVs in pairs or larger groups, allowing them to cover each other's flanks. Some units also received additional armor plating, though this added weight reduced the vehicle's mobility. Despite these efforts, the Jagdpanzer IV was best used in environments where it could dictate the terms of engagement, striking from cover and avoiding prolonged exchanges of fire. Between 1944 and 1945, approximately 1,977 Jagdpanzer IVs were produced. While this was a significant number, it was not enough to stem the tide of Allied advances. As the war progressed and Germany's resources dwindled, production became increasingly difficult, limiting the number of these vehicles that could be fielded. The Jagdpanzer IV was a product of necessity, a vehicle designed to counter the overwhelming armor of Germany's enemies. While it was not without its flaws, it served as a powerful tool in the hands of skilled crews. Today, the Jagdpanzer IV is remembered as one of the many innovative armored vehicles that defined the battles of World War II. Its legacy lives on in the stories of those who fought in and against it. Thank you for joining us in exploring the history of this remarkable tank destroyer. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into military history.